Hey there, I'm Megan Hayes, and this is The Future is Female, and I have my wonderful, amazing guest, Linda Bailey Walsh. How you doing, girl?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Oh my God, I'm great. Okay, so Linda, one, is just an incredible actress, human being, woman about LA, and very dear friend of mine, and fellow redhead.
And fellow redhead.
And fellow redhead.
Fellow ginger. Ginger powers unite.
Yay! Boo! Speaking of which, we are both actresses, and we're basically, I would say, in the same category of like character-y.
Mm-hmm. I think you flatter me when you say that, but okay.
No. Well, I would think, but I was just going to say.
But yeah, we are. We're character-y. We're funny.
We're
with a dark sort of intensity.
Around 40.
Around.
Or above.
Sure.
But what I wanted to say is that, like, it's just, I think it's rare, one, for actresses to be friends, like genuine friends.
Genuine friends.
And then,
yeah.
but also to be, like, we're in the same kind of category. We're like, honestly, if I lost a role to you, wouldn't want to lose it to anybody else.
Yeah, same.
I'd be totally down with that.
I'd be totally down with that, and I feel like you and I also, like, we really support each other. Like,
oh my God,
we're always like, oh my God, no, I can't do it, but let me give you Megan's number.
Oh, exactly,
and you're
like the thing I did for Jen. It was so fun. Oh,
yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately, that doesn't happen a lot.
No, and I mean, and also I have to say, honestly, like, I don't know about you, but I've had like female friends in the past, and it's been down to the two of us for a role, and I'm lucky I didn't go missing. You know what I mean? Like, it's been got real ugly.
Yeah, it gets real ugly, and it's also like weird how much and you have to be phony. You have to be phony, and let's put this up the chins.
Yeah. Oh, honey. Yes, please.
But you have to be. And people always say like people in Hollywood are so phony, but people in business are phony. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Like, people are competitive in every business.
Yes.
It's just, everything's much more in your face and literally public in Hollywood.
Speaking of which, though, that's why I want to segue into all this Harvey Weinstein stuff. Like, I don't, as everyone knows that, like, there's been, and I mean, I did a Me Too last week, on last week's show. Yeah, so, like, but it's not a Hollywood issue.
It's not a Hollywood issue, and that's one of the things that makes me nuts, like, about the backlash about this. I mean, it's a Hollywood issue because the people involved are extremely powerful and extremely beautiful, and you see them on the screen all the time, so you know about it. And people get like so down on, like, they're like, oh well, who cares what happens to some famous actresses? And it's like, well, you should care because the camera's being shown on them, like the same way, like, when famous gay people come out, like when Ellen came out. Like, okay, maybe you love Ellen, you don't love Ellen, but there was some kid in Minnesota whose life was probably saved by Ellen coming out.
Absolutely.
And the same, I feel like the same thing is true for women coming out in Hollywood about sexual harassment. Right. Because there's much less glamorous businesses that this is happening in.
Well, and also, like, I think that for every, like, Lupita Nyong'o who's come out about it, or Mira Sorvino, like, there's 100 non-famous women who it's happened to as well, and that also maybe didn't get out as scot-free as they did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It happens everywhere. And honestly, I started to almost play a game the other day because I had a friend who, I have a lot of friends.
She does. Linda's amazing.
But who made a comment about my body to me, a very positive, funny, flirty comment. And I decided to, like, play a game in my head to see how many times a day someone comments on my body, even if they say something nice.
Okay.
And I have, like, a large chest. I have, like, people make jokes all the time.
Really?
All the time, almost anywhere I go. People feel free to say something about my body. And I wonder, even if it's a positive thing, even if it's a nice thing, even if it's,
Yeah, but that's like, how does that affect you? That's surprising to me.
Yeah, and it happens in, like, all walks of life. Like, it doesn't just happen in the business. It doesn't just happen, like, there's literally, like, no one I know that has not made some comment about my chest.
Wow.
At some point. And I just wonder, like, I don't think men have that experience in life.
I don't know.
I don't think that happens all the time. And
does it, I mean, I know sometimes it's complimentary,
sometimes
but
it's complimentary. It's almost always complimentary. But Unless it has to do with like fitting into something.
Right.
Which that's, that's people will be like, well, those, that's why you need the large blouse versus the medium blouse,
right.
But it's a weird awareness that people make of you. It's the same thing like where if you meet a little boy, you say, what sports are you playing? How are you doing in school? What's your favorite subject? And if you meet a little girl, you say, you look so pretty. You look like a princess. You're so beautiful.
That's so true. The gender stuff starts really early.
It starts really early, and the objectifying of women's bodies starts super early. And, Hugh Hefner gave birth to Roger Ailes, gave birth to Bill O'Reilly, gave birth to the Kardashians, who I also blame in this mess, who gave birth to Trump and then elected him. And, going all the way back to like when Hugh Hefner died, people were like, oh my God, he was a pioneer in sex. He wasn't.
No.
Masters and Johnson were pioneers in sex.
Absolutely.
Because they studied people having sex.
Exactly.
Not women naked in pictures or women in bunny costumes serving men.
Right. I think that just perpetuates it enormously. Like, I don't know about you, but very rarely do I want to dress up like a bunny and serve a man that I don't know.
I don't think I have ever wanted to do either of those things.
Yeah.
Dress up like a bunny or no, I've wanted to serve a man actually. But like
your lover or something.
My lover,
but not like
someone I love. Yeah.
It's still keeping the power position.
And that's my point. That's power. That's not sex.
Yeah.
And all this assault is not sex.
Yeah.
Like people keep saying like, oh my God, he's so unattractive. And why do the women comment so unattractive? If it was, a more attractive man, would they be down for it? And it's like, first of all, women have to say everything they can to be believed.
That's
and women
horrific.
have to put every single piece of evidence out on the table that they weren't asking for it.
Which is ridiculous. So the narrative that he's not attractive is just one more thing where women adding
are saying,
to the narrative.
I didn't want this.
Do you think that, are you glad that I'm glad that at least finally it's becoming part of a conversation.
I'm very glad it's becoming part of the conversation, and I'm shocked at how many people are shocked. And the thing, I had a good friend ask me, who is, I think, a really like enlightened person and a very socially conscious person. And he said, can you say me too? And I was like, I don't know a single woman who can't say me too.
I can't think of a single person.
I don't know a single person. And yeah, obviously in Hollywood, it's 1,000 times more pervasive because what someone looks like has to do with your job performance.
Exactly.
Has to do whether or not you can get booked.
And even still, like, if I'm really honest with you, like, because I'm not like a name actor, like, I wouldn't share my Me Too story because it involves well-known people.
Yeah.
And so it's like, wow, what does that say still? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, and I wouldn't share my Me Too story, which I have a lot of Me Too stories. I'm a strong personality, and I think that has been a huge blessing in my life because fortunately I was never raped. I was never molested. Right. I've had people grab me inappropriately and things like that. And I've had so many stories just recently, and this has happened many times before. I've had a friend find out her husband was like a serial philanderer, and I'm like the only woman that he didn't pull it
Right.
Which could be that he just finds me completely unattractive.
Yeah, or it could be that like he knows that you'd be like, go fuck yourself.
He knows I'd be go fuck, and I, it's happened enough in my life that they know I'd be go fuck yourself. But I didn't share my Me Too story publicly or any of them because I feel like it would have upset people in my family.
Same.
And I also feel like that they would think I was saying I was raped. And it's so much more than rape. It's constant pressure. It's a constant
it's not
bullying and wave of being judged on your appearance or being pressured into sex or for me, like having to take a joke.
Yeah. Having to take a joke.
Just take a joke. Don't be a bitch. Don't make
Don't
this
be
awkward.
so sensitive.
Don't be so sensitive.
Yeah.
Don't make this awkward. Which for me is huge. I actually, and you actually know about this, I had someone in the business who I respected make several like weird sexual overtures to me. that I first left
Oh,
off.
I thought about that immediately and wanted to know what that person was going to be saying on social media.
Yeah, I would
about
love
it.
to know what that person's going to be saying on social media. And this was a person who, a few years ago, I took some pictures that were sexy, but not, I was not undressed. Like, there was something like, kind of, if how you're seeing me right now is probably the height of how the undress in the photo.
Right. Even if you're fucking naked.
And it doesn't, frankly,
doesn't matter.
Really doesn't matter. And at the time, this is someone I work with professionally. This is someone who could put the word out about me not being good at what I do if he wanted to.
Exactly.
And he sent me like a private message, like, I want you to meet me at a coffee shop wearing that and this and that, very detailed. And I kind of gave it like an LOL. I think the air conditioning would probably be really, laughed it off. And a few different things. And he's a person who made like a bunch of really public mea culpas, not about me, about how he's treated women, and he saw...
And he's still continuing it.
And he still continued it all privately.
That makes me bananas.
And then I ran into him at a show in a professional situation with 2 other men who were also professionals, and I saw them and I hugged them, hello, hi, how are you? We talked about a project, hi, how are you? Da, da, da. And I hugged him and he said, well, now I have an erection.
So gross.
So gross.
How is that okay?
How is that okay?
How is that okay?
And also, like, in that moment, do I make a scene? I'm about to go on stage. I'm with other professionals. Do I laugh it off? Do I make a joke because I work in comedy? And, like, I don't want to be that bitch that... It's those moments...
They're really tricky.
That are really tricky, and there's a thread of them throughout this industry.
Same.
Throughout this industry. And, you know, just to wrap that whole thing up, that person continued to write really publicly about what an evolved woke man he was.
Oh God, that makes me, but that hypocrisy makes me bananas.
And then on International Women's Day, he wrote like, "Who doesn't love a woman? Am I right, guys? Ah!" And I was like, this is incredibly tone deaf.
Oh my God.
And he took me to task publicly about how humorless I was and da 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 da. And first of all, fuck you.
We know who you are.
We know who you are, and
you know who you are.
And I basically turned into that girl and wrote him everything. I copied and screenshot everything he did, and then I recounted our entire last interaction.
God.
And I was like, so if you think you've finished your journey about feminism, you should really take a look at your behavior.
Yeah, no shit.
Because I've been watching you since you've been getting your things posted in all these big publications about how woke you are.
Yeah.
And then telling me about your hard penis when I hug you hello.
The hypocrisy of that is so, I think, bothers me more than if you came out and were like, I was hideous to women.
Right.
I'm a dick and I'm hideous to women. I'm not going to change it. I'd rather you do that than act like you're something you're not.
Yeah, don't. And that's, that's everywhere here. And that puts a lot of women in really difficult situations.
And scary situations sometimes.
Scary situations. And people then don't believe you.
Yeah.
The guy's like such a great guy.
Oh, and he's so sweet. He's so funny. And he's always so outspoken about women's rights.
Yeah, he's always so, yeah. And then like, so you must have a problem. Or how did you dress? Or what did you do?
Yeah.
Or, and it's like, guess what? The Amish community has a massive sexual assault problem.
Oh, I would don't
also the Mormon community, they have massive sexual assault problems. So it's not what the woman's wearing.
No.
It's not women dressing provocatively. It's not women behaving provocatively that's causing this problem.
Exactly.
It's men not knowing boundaries, not knowing how to behave, and
abusing their power.
And abusing their power, and people laughing it off. And, I just want to say for all those women who spoke up, people have no idea how hugely brave that is.
So brave.
Because he, especially Mr. Weinstein, or Fat Harvey, really knew how to prey on his victims, and he really knew how to prime them for these assaults, and he picked women who were just on the precipice of fame. Like, there's often a lot of these stories where women who were about to have their first movie have a worldwide release.
Yeah.
And if they say no to him, he could squish that film, he could plant things in the press and end their careers.
Oh my God.
End their careers. And these are people who are actually making their monies and supporting their families as actors. It's
right,
and
it means your future. Your future could be at stake.
It's everything you've put your entire life into. It's not like the school play.
No. I'm so glad it's finally really getting talked about. Girl,
Yeah.
I wish, like, I feel like we need to have, like, have you come back. Would you come back?
I'd love to come back.
That'd be great. This has been so wonderful. And
It
thank
has.
you for being brave and sharing your story. And,
Thank you. Thank you for asking me and for doing this. This is awesome.
you know, I do every Wednesday. So every Wednesday I do, like, a shout out to a gal, but who's, like, strong and empowered. But you know what? I'm shouting out to you, girl. I love you, Linda Bailey Walsh.
You're so sweet. I love you too.
Thank you for coming out, and I'll see you soon, hopefully.
I'll see you soon.
I'm Megan Hayes, and this is The Future is Female.